Hi guys, Don Robin here, jazzdog.net, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about Etude Number 1 by Chopin, and I believe that is opus number 10, which consists of 12 etudes. Opus 25, 12 etudes. Opus 25 consists of another 12 etudes, and then there were 3 etudes that he wrote posthumously. Number 1 is really a very useful study, and by your first impression of this etude, if you look at the first line, you'd think you'd have to have huge hands in order to play this piece, which it couldn't hurt. I mean, if you had if you could reach a 13th like Arthur Rubinstein, I'm sure that would, behoove you. But for most of us mortals, since we don't have such a large reach, you really have to depend on your wrist to play this piece. And I was taught using my wrist a lot in this piece. Of course, the pedal is very important to play with pedal, because it was written for the pedal, and I don't think it's really the type of piece that you can practice without pedal, even though you could stretch your hands far enough to make it work. But as far as the first line goes, when using your wrist, I was taught by a great teacher up in the Bay Area named Julian White that you need to sort of drop the wrist and come up in a forward sort of swooping motion. So, kind of like this. You drop the wrist, and that's the first movement that you would utilize. Very important to practice slowly. Practice slowly enough so that you're not making mistakes, because if you're making mistakes, your chances are you're going to probably perform with mistakes. So go slow enough so your mind can take it apart and you're not making mistakes. Important to follow the pedal markings. The pedal goes down in the very beginning. Now, just like you would drop the wrist going up, when you're coming down, you kind of drop the wrist from the top part and kind of come up. Anyway. Sounds something like that. Probably go a little bit faster. Now there's various editions you can buy when studying the etudes. I would, a lot of Americans use the Urtext edition or the Schirmer edition, and in Europe, a lot of people use the Salabert, the French edition, the Salabert edition, which is edited by Alfred Cortot. And what I like about these editions is that Cortot really takes the etudes apart, and he'll give you exercises within the etudes that you can practice. For example, for number 1, you'll have an exercise where you go up to the last note and you play all this legato, so you're reaching a 10th. Then you come down. Up. And so forth and so on. So there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know, 10 exercises within number 1. I usually, when I learn the etudes, I learn the right hand first. I memorize the left hand, and then I put them together, and I just keep on making that cycle. And after, who knows, months and months of practice, all of a sudden you're playing the piece and you don't even know why. But that's my 2 cents on this etude, and happy practicing, and be sure to check out www.jazzdog.net. Bye-bye.